Hey, I'm Gary from ANY Hydroponics, York Springs, Pennsylvania. We're right outside Gettysburg, the famous Gettysburg. Today I'm going to be doing a bottom drain system onto one of our hydroponic systems here. This is the Volponics. This drain system can work pretty much on any hydroponic system that you have. I don't see why any system won't be able to have this be put on. I originally talked about this on one of my videos way back. I was going to make it all complicated on myself and try to get everything drilled and exact, and that's why I kind of scrapped it for a while, because I was going to have everything pre-cut for everybody. But then as we started releasing more systems, I'm like, man, I would have to have all these different pre-cuts. So pretty much I'm going to show you how to do all this yourself, and that way you can just make it fit, because it really doesn't matter if things aren't even on the buckets or anything with this draining system. It's going to drain. And yeah, this is our Volponics system we're going to put it on. Just your regular bubble buckets that you got at home, like you could set them up and have that work too. It all is about getting the buckets off the ground. So you're going to lose 2.5 inches of growth space no matter how you do this. And most of the systems that are out there that have built-in bottom drain systems, they're also raised off the ground anyway. So it's really the only way to get stuff to drain all the way down, is to get it off the ground. This will work on the bins, it'll work on totes, it'll work on pretty much anything I can think of. When you go to do this, you want to use standard bricks. This one is just some stuff I had sitting out back, but pretty much a brick about 2.5 inches is what you're going to need. You can use 2x4s, you can use wood, you can get fancy and build some nice little stands. There's all different kinds of things you can use to get your buckets off the ground. So we're going to use the bricks. In the grow tent here, like this brick here's got this rounded side, which is nice. So I got that going down, because this will scratch up your grow tent. And you know, this is a gorilla, 4x4 gorilla grow tent here, and I'd hate to see anybody mess their tents up. It's our display tent, so I'm just gonna try not to shift this thing around and scratch it up. You can put some felt underneath your bricks, even some paper towels, something to keep it from scratching up your tent if you want to try to keep your tent from getting messed up. On the buckets themselves, I'm doing a brick on each corner, because you don't want to have this particular system. I wouldn't want to take this one out, because the weight of the water is going to push down and mess with this fitting right here. So I would definitely recommend all 4 corners. You want to, if you're using a big bin and you have 20 gallons of water in it, the middle of the bin can end up dipping down, and you don't want to have this hit the floor. You want to kind of have this off the floor a little bit, because if it hits the floor, it's going to push up on this top rubber grommet that's in here, and that could break your seal and cause a leak. These fittings are really nice. I think they're made by Active Aqua, if I remember correctly. And they're a 1-piece elbow, as opposed to having my normal 2-piece that we use on our water level indicator kits. Those end up sticking down farther. They actually have an elbow separate with a piece of tubing in between, so you're losing more space doing that. And plus, this is less likely to have a leak, because you only have one point where your tube's going on instead of having the in-between pieces. So we're using these and we're sticking with them. They also got this cool little screen on them, which I like a lot. The screen does come off. They're a little bit stubborn, but I have gotten them off before. You kind of got to give them a twist. There we go, this one comes off. So the screen does come off, so if you need to get in there and clean these, I definitely recommend having a screen on them for the drain, because you don't want your little clay rocks getting down there and clogging it up. They have the normal 2 rubber gaskets here, so pretty nice little fittings. Half-inch tees, you're probably going to need some of these, which we're going to show you all this. We're going to go through this whole video and tell you. Half-inch elbows, you might want to use these if you want to because you could have 20 buckets here. I don't know what you got going on, but pretty much this, you can do pretty much anything with this for drainage. You can have 100 plants probably. Half-inch valve, that's going to go before the pump, so you can turn off your system so it don't leak everywhere. All right, and as for the pump itself, right now I'm going to use this 250 active aqua pump. Does 291 gallons per hour. Most of these pumps have a 3/4 inch input, so this is all 1/2 inch tubing that we're going to use here. So I have a reducer to go from 1/2 inch to 3/4, and that way that'll be your input to the pump. And then your 1/2 inch can go from the pump output out to wherever. You can have a drain in the floor. I mean, if you have a drain in the floor, you might even be able to get away without even using a pump. You can just run this thing out, push your tent down a little bit, and let it run into the drain. This will all be available on our website, of course, you know, but you can always go ahead and get this elsewhere if you need to. We're going to have this set up on the website with a flat rate shipping, and then you could choose whatever parts you want, and you could choose to have the pump or not have the pump if you already got one. Most of the pumps, like this one in particular, says submersible pump, but it's actually inline also. And most of the pumps out there that I've seen lately have an option to run it inline. So to run it inline, you pretty much take this cover off. It's got a pre-filter in it. Don't need that for this. This comes off. This is actually a speed control for the pump if you are submersing it. Nice to have. And then you got your input for the pump. Little rubber O-ring. You want to put that on here before you get this thing set up. So don't over tighten this either, because I've seen it split the lip on the pump. So snug it up nice. This is going to have a valve in line anyway, so not very likely to have any leaks from this pump at all. But it is the lowest point of the system. All this underneath stuff is going to be your lowest point, so that is, it's got the most water weight on it. So I wouldn't want to have a leak on my drainage system. That would kind of suck, because you ain't going to be able to get under there to tighten anything up. So try to get it all nice the first time. So pretty much that's how the drain pump's going to be set up. It's going to go right here. All right, we're going to come back to that. Other things you're going to need to do this project. Tape measure might come in handy. I'm probably just going to eyeball everything up here. Scissors, the 1/2 inch tubing, some heavy duty scissors will cut it. I like my tubing cutters because I cut tubing a lot in here. So these things, I think they were like 10 bucks. And then the deburr tool to clean up your holes that we're going to be drilling. Chuck didn't bring my drill back. The deburr tool, this will help clean up the hole when you go to drill them in the buckets. And you can use like a razor knife or something else. We do sell these on the website too, so it's nice to have. All right, so I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way, and I'm gonna pull this hydroponic system out, and then we're gonna go drill some holes. All right.
We're good.
All right, I'm gonna pull this thing out of here. Leave my bricks in there. All right, so the bottom of the system, we're going to be doing drilling today. I'm going to go, what I'm thinking I'm going to do here is I'm going to go on this side. This has a dimple in here. This goes for anything you got. Like, don't drill through words that have raised print. Don't drill through any of these little, there's a recycling symbol here. You want to have a nice flat area so that these seal up good. So with this, I'm probably going to go ahead, let's see. Just going to put them off to the side here. And actually, I could probably run my line right down the middle like that. These have a raised lip inside of them. A lot of the bins you got are also going to have some funky stuff on the bottom of them. So it's going to drain out the middle real well, but you're probably still going to have a little pool of water on the ends here on this particular system. I mean, you could get really crazy with this and do drains on each little dip here, but I am not going to worry about that. you know, after I drain the system, I pretty much just dump 5 gallons of plain water through it and suck that out, and then that helps clean up the rest of the little tiny bit that's in there, and that's what we're gonna do. So this is same size drill bit for all of our other 1-inch bulkheads, 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch bulkheads. They all use this 1 1/4 inch hole saw. So which is convenient, so I don't have to have a bunch of different bits sitting around. All right, so nice smooth spot. In the beginning, like I said earlier, like I mentioned this in a video a long time ago, and what I was gonna do was like have everything precisely measured on all these buckets and have this thing all pre-cut, but I'm not doing that. I'm just not gonna do it. I also don't really care to drill these holes either, but I'm sure someone will talk me into it. All right. So I think it'll seal up nice right about there on this one. All right, that's one. Over here, nice smooth spot here. And over here looks about right there, should be good. And then over here, nice smooth. There's a little line right there, so I'm gonna go off to the side of that a little bit. All right, it's that easy. Like, this is so darn easy that you're probably watching this going, I could do that myself. And that's what I like to hear. As you all know, I'm big on building everything myself. This deburr tool, if you haven't seen this in other videos, this gets these little plastic shards off the edges here, because that's enough to break your seal. All right, that looks good. All right, so it's gonna be a little bit tricky getting these put in. So that's gonna come out the bottom. I'm gonna run everything towards the center here. And you could do this so many different ways. Once I get all these put on, I'm gonna kind of go over that a little bit. So I got the rubber gasket on the inside and one on the outside. We have a truck delivery outside in case anybody's wondering what the commotion is. It's hard to shoot videos nowadays. Got a lot going on in here, but I'm gonna keep on trucking. I got a lot more videos I'm gonna do, so please subscribe. That really keeps me going here, is people who subscribe. And then you can also make sure you hit notifications, because I know things we've been going through lately in this country in general has set us back a little bit, but we do have lots more videos coming. Also, don't forget to hit our Facebook up and Instagram. Thanks. I did put the system together, these pipes on ahead of time on purpose, because everything's going to have to be spaced out, and once these, I don't want to put any pressure on this. I'm going to kind of build this thing upside down, flip it over and set it on the bricks. Alright, so I'm going to snug them up nicely. And like I said earlier, this is, you make sure these are on here good, because if you get a leak on one of these, it's going to be really hard to get to it, because it's going to be underneath of everything. So, alright, so everything's nice and tight on there. So this is going to be the front of my system. That's going to be up here. So I'm going to run everything up this way. Now you can do the tubing 100 different ways here. Like you could have these turn this way and put a T here and have the T's come into the middle and meet. You could have one line. You could run this around and do a loop. Hook it in there, and then just have it come out the end here. You can have 2 rows come down here and hook down here, which would be nice. You could have some elbows down here and kind of have that come in the middle and meet here at the pump. So that's why we're just going to sell the parts. All right. So to plumb this thing, I'm going to just start the back side. A little bit of hot water on these will help them get on quicker. All right. So it's going to run to the middle, meet at a T, and head on down. And I'm just going to eyeball this whole thing up. You can get out measuring tape if you want. It's up to you. Got a lot of slack with the 1/2 inch. There's wiggle room with it, so if it's not perfect, it'll be all right. All right. So that's going to run down the middle. Then right here, I'm going to pretty much have one T going that way and one running that way. And that'll go out to the pump. So this one. Very simple, folks. All these fittings I'm using today are triple barb, so they should stay on nice. And this was 10 feet of black tubing, by the way. So if you go and order a little kit for this, you can choose how much tubing you think you need. But this is going into a 4x4 10, and it should be enough. All right, to hook these 2 T's together, I need just a short piece here. All right. Pump and come out, so just how the pumps are. So let's see, got this much tubing left out of my 10-foot. If you don't, if you have a drain pump in the floor, you can just go ahead and use, might not even need a pump. All right, so I'm out of room here, so I think I'm gonna go sideways. All right, so I want to put this sideways. That way I have some room here for the pump. So I'm gonna cut another little piece to hook this little elbow on. So these are little parts that you're gonna want to think about getting. These are only like 50 cents or something, so when you're picking out what you want to get for this kit, you might want to grab an elbow just to have it. And then we're going to be going from, since the pumps have the 3/4 input that we talked about earlier, we got our little reducer piece here that's going to take it from 1/2 inch to the pump, and then the pump's 1/2 inch out, and we'd be done. Probably even you could run the pump down here on the corner too if you want to get it out of your way. Just run a longer piece over to it. Like I said, there are lots of ways you can do this, but And all in all, it's just very simple and it works well. So yeah, I get a little outlet strip with a on-off switch on here. Then you can run this, like if you don't have a sink near you, you can just run it into buckets and carry it out. The plants can be out of the water for probably even up to a half an hour, really. So you have time. On this system here in particular, this is our fall ponic. It's got the reservoir outside of the tent. So for that, you could put another little drain in there. What I do personally on this system is while I'm draining it, I just kick the waterfall pump on, and that'll drain out this bucket and it'll leave like that much water in it. So you can either wet vac that out, because this is outside the tent, it's easy to get to. There's no plants in it. Or you can just put another one of these in there and run a little piece out and put a valve on it. And then you could just drain this into a little Tupperware bowl or something to get the last little bit out of here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's very simple. And I think you can handle it. And this is available on the website. I thank you for watching. Please subscribe to us. And we're going to keep on doing more videos. We've got a bunch more coming. And I'm Gary from ANY Hydroponics. Have a good one.